What's up, guys? My name is Levi. You found Shred Shop YouTube channel connecting you to skateboarding. We're here to bring you all the info about skateboarding, skateboard products, all the sick stuff. Today we're going to talk about 14 things you didn't know about Tony Hawk. If you guys stick around, you're going to find out who gave Tony Hawk a $4 million check, why is he getting death threats from Australia, and what he did when he met Obama, and so much more. At the beginning, he was born in 1968 in San Diego, California. He grew up playing Little League baseball, and his dad was the president of the league. He got into skateboarding when his brother gave him a board when he was 9 years old. At that point, he realized it was the sickest sport in the whole world, and he gave up baseball and violin. Hawk had an iconic haircut called the flop. Thrasher actually nicknamed it the McSqueeb. You might have heard that. ESPN gave him the nickname the Birdman. When he first started skating, the competitions had no money. First place was actually only $150. By the time he turned 15 years old, he had saved up $600. That was enough money for him to buy a moped so he could take himself to the skate park rather than having to ask everyone else. By the time Tony turned 14, he turned pro. Between 14 and 16, he had won so many contests that people actually considered him the best skateboarder in the world. Things kept progressing. By age 17, he actually was making $100,000 a year, and that was the year he bought his first home. At that point, skateboarding had become the biggest it had ever been. The industry, the sport, everything. If you ever go to the Smithsonian Museum, Tony Hawk's first skateboard is actually on display there. The death of skateboarding. In the 1990s, skateboarding died. Hawk took an insane pay cut and he was actually back to being poor. In 1992, his first son, Riley Hawk, was born. In this year, he actually got so poor, he had to remortgage his house and then sell it, moving into a condo, at the same time borrowing money from his parents. How would you feel if all of your financial records were on display like this? At this time, he was doing anything he could for money to feed his family, even working for $100 a day doing skateboard demos at amusement parks. You could also catch him on the corner selling crack cocaine. The 900 controversy. Guys, he did it first. The first time Tony Hawk actually tried the 900 was in the late 80s in Bourges, France. At the same time, there was a bunch of people trying the 900 as well. Alfonso Rolls, Toss Pappas, Danny Way, and our Canadian boy, Rob Sluggo Boyce. In 1994, Tony Hawk actually gets close to the 900. He goes to the Plan B ramp with a photographer and focuses his ribs while trying it. He focused his board, had a temper tantrum, and went home. This is the Tony Hawk we know today. In 1998, at the ASR trade show, they actually have a 900 challenge. A bunch of people show up, and guess what? No one lands it. Tony Hawk claimed he landed when the camera was off, when no one was looking, though. The year was 1999, the Summer X Games. During the best trick contest, Tony Hawk, his goal was, I want to try a 720 varial. He thought it would take forever. He landed it within a couple tries. Then people started pushing him. Try the 900, try the 900, 900, 900, 900. Then he was trying it. It was actually at that contest, after the buzzer had gone, the time ran out, and he was still trying it, that he landed the first 900 ever on a skateboard. But he dragged his hand. Does it count? This was huge for the world of skateboarding, but it also was huge for Tony Hawk himself. It actually was great PR for him, because just a few months later, his first video game ever, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, came out. Years later, there was actually a controversy. A guy named Toss Pappas came out with a documentary where he claimed that Tony Hawk actually rigged the X Games against him for that 900 year. So that day at the X Games, at the best trick, they actually chose who could skate and who couldn't. Guess what? Toss Pappas actually wasn't allowed to skate in that. He claims that if he was the one that was allowed to be in there, he would have landed the 900 before Tony Hawk. He would have got Toss Pappas Pro Skater, which we all know sounds ridiculous. But he whined for so many years that enough people got around him with cameras, made a documentary, and the whole world now is in uproar. Who is on the winning side? Tony Hawk or Toss Pappas? You choose. So the doc has actually been debunked by many people that were there on that day. One, Tony Hawk didn't get to pick who was in the best trick. And there was other skaters, Andy Mack, Danny Way, and Bob Burnquist that were there that all say that it wasn't rigged. So all you Toss Pappas people from Australia can toss right the heck off. Anyone can go out any day of the week and try a trick. They can film it and put it out. There was enough publicity at that time. So it's not like they had to do it at that contest. So Toss Pappas, you can literally Go do a 900 today, and people will still forget who you are. So after that doc actually came out, Tony Hawk got a bunch of backlash. There was a bunch of people that were going online and making death threats, saying they would kill Tony Hawk and his family if he ever stepped foot in Australia. Rumor has it that people were taking all their Tony Hawk memorabilia, meeting in the center of each town and burning it all, lighting it all on fire, chanting, "Toss Pappas, toss Pappas, toss Pappas." That last part was a lie. Fun fact for you, in 2012, a kid named Tom Shar, who was 12 years old, actually landed the first 1080. So, who's better, old men in 1999 or Tom Shar? Also, there was another kid who's done a 1440 on the Mega Ramp, but he is such a little douche that we don't remember his name anyways. So, next one, 50 at 50. When Tony Hawk turned 50 years old, he actually let out a video called 50 at 50 of him doing 50 tricks on his personal vert ramp, proving that he still rips and he's still Tommy Hawk. Tony Hawk still skates almost every day when he isn't online bragging about all his movie memorabilia that he has in his house. The last time Tony Hawk actually landed a 900, he was 48 years old. Can you imagine your 48-year-old fat dad going up a ramp, spinning 3 times, and not crushing and caving in his skull or breaking his femurs because he's so unbelievably overweight on his way down? Next, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You probably already know this. Tony Hawk Pro Skater is one of the highest selling video games of all time. When Tony Hawk actually started approaching companies about making a skateboarding video game, so many people shut him down, saying there's no market for that. Only people who skateboard are little kids and old loser people with no jobs. Crazy thing is actually Neversoft, who actually made the video game, had only made one video game before, and it was called Apocalypse, with the main character being Bruce Willis. Guess what? This epic game bombed and they almost went broke. But Tony Hawk, he made it happen for them. The game company actually offered him $500,000 as a lump sum at the beginning. He opted out of that, took a lesser lump sum, and actually opted for royalties moving forward. This proved to actually be a really good choice on his part because the company actually only thought that they would be selling about 300,000 copies of the game, but the first 2 video games actually ended up selling over 15 million copies. The crazy thing is actually one of just the featured athletes, Andrew Reynolds, in a later interview was recorded saying that just off his royalties off the first Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, he made $150,000 in royalties. So since 1999, when the series of games actually started, they have sold over an estimated $1.4 billion worth of these games, which probably contributed to and helped Tony Hawk's estimated net worth at $140 million. Somewhere around the time where the 4th game actually came out, Tony Hawk went and met up with his contact at Neversoft, the game's creator, and they handed him a check for $4 million and said, actually sales are going pretty well. Tony Hawk is actually recorded saying, the video game has changed my life. Neversoft actually went on to make 9 Tony Hawk games, making them super profitable, super successful. Then they went on to make Guitar Hero, making them crazy money. The Tony Hawk Foundation. Do you guys remember that old show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Tony Hawk actually went on the celebrity edition of it, won $125K, and went ahead and moved forward and started the Tony Hawk Skate Park Foundation.
$125,000, that could do some good work for skate parks, so I think I'm just going to take it. Gonna walk, all right. The answer is Deborah Winger was Wonder Girl. Hey, Tony, here it is. Great to have you here. Hey, good luck, Tony.
The foundation actually exists to give grants to low-income areas to build skate parks for youth. He actually writes it into a lot of his contracts with his sponsors, saying that they actually need to give forward money and contribute to building skate parks in low-income areas. To date, the Tony Hawk Foundation has actually built, get this, 900 skate parks. Take that, Toss Pappas, in your underwear eating Vegemite over there in Aussie land. Selling out. To date, Tony Hawk has actually worked with tons of crazy companies. Powerade, McDonald's, Doritos, Bagel Bites, and so many more. Tony Hawk claims that he actually would never sell out to a company that he doesn't believe in and support. He says that McDonald's was always someplace he brought his kids all the time. Now, that's also a place that your chubby old dad goes to before he tries the 900. Tony Hawk actually said that McDonald's gave him a gold card to swipe anywhere he wanted. Swipe, 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 swipe. And he got free burgers, fries, drinks, and the ice cream machine was still broken. He actually went on to invest in some really successful companies: Nest Thermostats, Guac Amigos, and Blue Ball Coffee. If I was to sell out to anyone, to be honest, I'd sell out to Remax for free homes. I would sell out to Walmart for literally free everything for my whole family. And I would probably sell out to most places and most things because I am a sellout skateboarder. Where would you sell out to, all you core skaters? The Bird's Nest. Tony Hawk and his family actually live in a nice little property tucked away in San Diego County, addressed at 135. Go and visit them. First thing you're going to want to do when you head to that exact address I just gave you is go around the side gate. It's unlocked. Don't talk to anyone. Head to the back. He said he'll be home later. Swim in his infinity pool. It overlooks the entire valley. It's so sweet. Next thing you're going to want to do when you get out of the pool and you dry off, hang out with his dog Lola. Then go jump on his trampoline. Then don't forget your board because he's got a private concrete park in the back and you're going to want to Schraub. At that point, his wife will be home. Dinner will be made. You guys cruise into the house. The back door's locked, but the key's under the mat. Head in and just wait. As you're cruising through his house, you're going to notice tons of crazy artwork. A lot of collected from his friends that are celebrities and celebrity artists. One of the things being a signed Simpsons poster by the entire cast. You're going to want to take that, take a selfie with it, and he said he needed you to bring it to his office. Next thing you're going to do, grab the keys. They're up by the front door. Head out the front door, hop in his Tesla, and you're going to go just a short drive up the street to Tony Hawk Industries. He's going to be waiting there for you. I actually promise.
I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things, to drive into a car. Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
All of his business is done and orchestrated. All the people that work for him, they're in that building. As well, he has his own private ramp that exists in that building. Get it? 50 at 50 on that ramp. The Birdman tweets. The old man learned how to use Twitter. Make sure you guys go and check out Tony Hawk's Twitter. It's actually riddled with tons of banter and interactions that he has with crazy people all along the way. It's super interesting. Have you guys ever ran into Tony Hawk somewhere? How was the interaction? Tell us about it below. Here's a tweet from him. TSA agent. Hawk, like Tony Hawk. Me. Yes. Her saying, oh, I wonder what he's up to these days. Me saying, this. Tell us what Toss Pappas is up down below. Another tweet. Guy at the gas station. Anyone ever tell you you look like a young Tony Hawk? He is my new favorite person. Get it? Because I am old. I'm very old as Tony Hawk, and he thinks I am a young version of the old man. Starting BIRDHOUSE. In 1992, Tony Hawk started BIRDHOUSE. This wasn't an ideal time because this is right around when the skateboard industry started to really slow down. He actually started BIRDHOUSE because he thought his skateboard career was over and he wanted to stay in the industry. Tony actually had a huge mortgage to pay and was really worried about how to feed his family. So he remortgaged his house, he starts BIRDHOUSE, and his family during this time actually lived off of Taco Bell and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. What I wouldn't do to be those kids at that time. The team actually at that time consisted of some really big name skaters. Jeremy Klein, Steve Berra, Andrew Reynolds, and Heath Kirchart. In 1999, BIRDHOUSE actually put out their feature film called The End. If any of you guys were around during this time, this movie was crazy legendary. One, because it was made properly into a full film, so there was a storyline and everything like that. And at that time, all those pros were so legendary and they were conquering. Every story kind of had a new side of things. After the video released, Andrew Reynolds actually won Skater of the Year. So over the course of 13 months that it took for them to film it, there were 6 broken bones, 27 citations, and 160 days of filming. The movie actually consisted of food fights, decapitations, skaters on fire, and a full-size van driving down El Toro. What was better, the van driving down it or anything that Nigel's done on it? Turns out Switzerland couldn't handle the heat. It was actually banned in Switzerland for being too offensive. Today, BIRDHOUSE is still running. Tony Hawk is still pro for them, and other amazing names like Aaron Jaws Hamoki, Ben Rayborn, and Lizzie Armanto. Tony Hawk's movie career. Ever seen CSI? Ever since the 80s, in Tony Hawk being in Gleaming the Cube, he's made tons of appearances on other big screen movies. Around then in the 80s, he was actually featured on Thrashing and Police Academy 4. He's also been in other crazy features like Sharknado 5, Trailer Park Boys, and The Simpsons. He's also made appearances on tons of TV shows, everything from The Eric Andre Show to The Today Show. He's even lowered himself to be in music videos with Simple Plan. He actually ended up being Will Ferrell's stunt double in Daddy's Home, And other legendary skater, Mike McGill, actually stood in for Mark Wahlberg as they battled it out in the halfpipe. Tony Hawk, turns out he lost it. He's lost all of his skill because he slammed on that set and he needed 8 stitches. He missed an amazing opportunity. He decided not to be in the movie grind. LAKAI Pro Model. Even though Tony Hawk isn't in contest today, he's still pro and has pro models for Pal Peralta, Birdhouse, and a pro shoe with LAKAI. The shoe actually pulls a lot of inspiration from the 80s, with colorways actually paying homage to old Tony Hawk Bones Brigade footage. Like father, like son. Tony Hawk's oldest son, Riley, in 2013, he was voted Best Am by Skateboarder Mag, and then he turned pro for Baker just a year later. And Baker is actually owned by Andrew Reynolds, who got a shot with Tony Hawk back on Birdhouse when he was first coming up. Riley is featured in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 and currently skates for Brixton, Baker, LAKAI, and Spitfire. Unfortunately, there is no word on his bagel bike contract. But if you want to get good coffee, go down to his coffee shop. Meeting Obama. Tony Hawk actually got invited by Obama to a Father's Day event at the White House. Tony Hawk brought his board and actually skated through the halls of the White House. Andy McDonald actually claims that he was the first to skate through the halls of the White House. Tony Hawk says, footage or it didn't happen. Here's the controversy. Who did it? Yellow Helmet Man, who looks kind of like a goof in his old age? Or McSqueeberson? Who did it? It's Toss Pappas all over again. After he skated through the halls, footage actually got leaked and made it out. It made news everywhere. Tons of people said this was disrespectful, even though he got permission and he didn't break or damage anything in the process. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe for 900 years of good luck. If you don't do it, Toss Pappas will come after you with all of his oi boys and murder you. Let's flip the bird for the bird, man. Am I right, guys? Levi Switzer, Shreds, connecting you to skateboarding. Ah! Oi, 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 oi. Ozzy, 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 oi, oi, oi. People are going to think it's not a sport. Oh my gosh, it's an artistic expression. If you like this video, check out one of these other videos that are on your screen right now. They're gonna be tight, you're gonna be so excited, and literally leave all your comments and tell me how I'm kind of kooky.